Imagine lying down in bed and falling asleep within 10 minutes, not tossing and turning for an hour, not checking your phone, not replaying every conversation from your day, just closing your eyes and drifting into deep restorative sleep that lasts the entire night. Then imagine waking up naturally, without an alarm, feeling genuinely refreshed instead of hitting snooze 5 times and dragging yourself through the morning. This isn't a fantasy for lucky people with perfect genetics. This is trainable. Your body has sophisticated sleep systems that want to work perfectly, but 10 specific habits most people do wrong are sabotaging those systems every single night. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 10 bedtime habits that elite sleepers use to fall asleep fast and stay asleep all night. These aren't just tips. They're scientifically proven practices that reprogram your body's sleep architecture, and they work even if you've struggled with sleep for years. Let me tell you about Emma. She spent a decade as a terrible sleeper. Every night was a battle. She'd lie awake for hours, mind racing, checking the clock, calculating how little sleep she'd get, which made her more anxious, which kept her awake longer. She tried every sleeping pill, every meditation app, every piece of advice she could find. Nothing worked consistently. She was exhausted, irritable, and convinced she was just someone who couldn't sleep well. Then she discovered these 10 habits and committed to them religiously for 30 days. By week 2, she was falling asleep in under 15 minutes. By week 4, she was sleeping through the night without waking. After 3 months, she couldn't remember the last time she'd had insomnia. Her energy transformed. Her mood improved. Her work performance skyrocketed. She realized she'd been fighting her body's natural sleep systems her entire adult life, and these 10 habits were how she finally aligned with them instead. Here's what you need to understand about sleep. It's not something that just happens to you randomly. It's a biological process controlled by 2 main systems: your circadian rhythm, which is your 24-hour internal clock, and your sleep pressure, which builds throughout the day and dissipates during sleep. When these systems work together properly, you fall asleep easily and sleep deeply. When they're disrupted, you get insomnia, restlessness, and that terrible feeling of being tired but unable to sleep. Everything you do during the day, and especially in the hours before bed, either supports these systems or sabotages them. Sleep researchers have identified exactly what creates optimal sleep. It's not about trying harder or wanting it more. It's about creating the right conditions and following the right sequence of habits that prepare your body and brain for sleep. Dr. Matthew Walker, a neuroscientist who studies sleep at UC Berkeley, has spent decades researching what separates great sleepers from terrible ones. The difference isn't genetic, it's behavioral. Great sleepers do specific things consistently that terrible sleepers don't, and the beautiful part is that anyone can learn these behaviors. Think about how much of your life is diminished by poor sleep. The brain fog that makes simple tasks feel impossible. The emotional reactivity that damages relationships. The lack of energy that prevents you from exercising or pursuing goals. The increased anxiety and depression. The weakened immune system. The weight gain. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It undermines every aspect of your physical and mental health. Now imagine reclaiming deep restorative sleep. Waking up actually refreshed. Having mental clarity all day. Feeling emotionally stable. Having energy for the things that matter. That's what these 10 habits will give you. If you want more strategies for optimizing your health and performance, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week, I break down the science of human biology into practical habits you can implement immediately. This information could genuinely transform your sleep, which means transforming your entire life. Don't miss it. Now let's dive into the 10 bedtime habits that will train your body to fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Habit number 1, the consistent sleep schedule foundation. This is the most important habit on this entire list. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, including weekends. No exceptions. Your circadian rhythm is like a pendulum that swings on a 24-hour cycle. When you go to bed at wildly different times, you're constantly resetting that pendulum, and your body never knows when it's supposed to be asleep. This creates a state of perpetual jet lag that makes falling asleep and staying asleep incredibly difficult. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that sleep consistency is more important for feeling rested than sleep duration. 7 hours at consistent times beats 8 hours at random times every single time. When you maintain the same schedule, your body starts preparing for sleep automatically. About 2 hours before your usual bedtime, your core temperature begins dropping, melatonin starts rising, and your brain begins the wind-down process. But this only happens if your schedule is consistent enough for your body to predict when sleep is coming. Mark was the classic inconsistent sleeper. He'd stay up until 2 in the morning on weekends, sleep until noon, then struggle to fall asleep Sunday night because his rhythm was completely disrupted. Monday through Friday were torture because he was constantly catching up. He made one change: bed at 10:30 and wake at 6:30 every single day, even weekends. The first 2 weekends were hard. He wanted to sleep in, but by week 3, his body had adjusted. He started feeling naturally tired at 10 and naturally awake at 6:30. His sleep quality improved dramatically because his circadian rhythm finally had the consistency it needed. Habit number 2, the light dimming cascade. Starting 2 to 3 hours before bed, progressively dim the lights in your home. Bright light, especially overhead lighting, signals to your brain that it's still daytime, which suppresses melatonin production. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy, and it only rises in response to darkness. When you keep your environment bright all evening, you're actively preventing your body from preparing for sleep. The ideal evening lighting progression looks like this: 3 hours before bed, dim overhead lights or switch to lamps. 2 hours before bed, use only warm-toned lamps at low brightness. 1 hour before bed, use minimal lighting or candles. This gradual dimming mimics the natural sunset and allows melatonin to rise naturally. You'll notice you start feeling sleepy earlier because your biology is finally getting the darkness signal it needs. Studies show that people who dim lights in the evening fall asleep 20 to 30 minutes faster than those who maintain bright lighting. The difference is hormonal. Your brain literally cannot initiate proper sleep preparation in bright environments. Sarah worked from home and would keep all her lights blazing until she went to bed, then wonder why she couldn't fall asleep. She installed dimmers and started reducing light progressively through the evening. Within a week, she was naturally drowsy by bedtime instead of wired. Habit number 3, the temperature drop protocol. 90 minutes before bed, your core body temperature needs to drop by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate sleep. You can accelerate this process by making your bedroom cool, ideally between 65 and 68 degrees. A cold room isn't just more comfortable for sleeping. It's physiologically necessary for the temperature drop that triggers sleep onset. Here's a powerful technique. Take a hot bath or shower 60 to 90 minutes before bed. This seems counterintuitive, but here's what happens. The hot water brings blood to your surface, and when you get out, that heat dissipates rapidly, causing a faster core temperature drop than would happen naturally. This dramatic temperature change signals to your body that it's time to sleep. Research from the University of Texas found that a warm bath before bed can help you fall asleep 10 to 15 minutes faster. Habit number 4, the screen curfew ritual. All screens off at least 60 minutes before bed. No exceptions. The blue light from phones, tablets, computers, and TVs suppresses melatonin production by up to 50%. Even worse, the content on screens, whether it's social media, news, or work emails, is cognitively stimulating and emotionally activating. You're asking your brain to wind down while simultaneously feeding it stimulation. It doesn't work. Elite sleepers have a hard cutoff time. Maybe it's 9 in the evening. Maybe it's 10. But once that time hits, all screens go off. They charge their phones outside the bedroom. They read physical books. They have conversations. They do light stretching or preparation for tomorrow. This screen-free buffer zone allows melatonin to rise, cognitive arousal to decrease, and the transition to sleep to happen naturally. David was addicted to scrolling before bed. He'd lie in bed for an hour on his phone, then wonder why he couldn't fall asleep after putting it down. His brain was completely activated. He implemented a strict 9 o'clock screen curfew. The first week was uncomfortable. He didn't know what to do with himself. But by week 2, he noticed he was naturally drowsy by 10. His sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, dropped from 45 minutes to less than 10. One habit, massive sleep improvement. Habit number 5, the cognitive download practice. 30 minutes before bed, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing a brain dump. Write down everything on your mind. Tomorrow's tasks, things you're worried about, random thoughts, unfinished business. Get it all out of your head and onto paper. This practice, recommended by sleep researchers, allows your brain to stop rehearsing and ruminating because the information is captured externally. Dr. Michael Scullin at Baylor University found that people who write a to-do list before bed fall asleep significantly faster than those who don't. The act of writing tells your brain it doesn't need to keep reminding you about these things. The information is safe. It can let go. Without this practice, your brain will use the quiet moments as you're trying to fall asleep to remind you of everything you might forget, which keeps you awake. Jennifer would lie in bed with her mind, racing through everything she needed to do tomorrow, worrying she'd forget something important. She started keeping a notebook by her bed and doing a complete brain dump every night. The relief was immediate. Once everything was written down, her mind could relax. She'd still have thoughts pop up occasionally, but she'd just add them to the list and her brain would let it go. Habit number 6, the caffeine cutoff time. No caffeine after noon. None. Not even a little. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, which means if you have coffee at 3 in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still in your system at 9 at night. Even if you can fall asleep with caffeine in your system, it dramatically reduces sleep quality by preventing deep sleep stages. You might sleep for 8 hours, but wake up feeling unrefreshed because the architecture of your sleep was disrupted. Research from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that consuming caffeine even 6 hours before bed significantly disrupts sleep, even though people don't consciously notice it. You might think that afternoon coffee doesn't affect you, but sleep tracking data shows it absolutely does. Elite sleepers respect caffeine's long half-life and cut it off early. Habit number 7, the bedroom sanctuary rule. Your bedroom should be used for only 2 things: sleep and intimacy. Not work, not watching TV, not scrolling on your phone, not eating. When you do wakeful activities in your bedroom, your brain learns to associate that space with being awake, which makes it harder to fall asleep there. Sleep scientists call this stimulus control, and it's incredibly effective. If you can't fall asleep after 20 minutes, get out of bed and go to another room. Do something quiet and boring in dim light until you feel sleepy, then return to bed. This prevents your brain from learning that bed is a place where you lie awake. Over time, your brain builds a strong association. Bed equals sleep. The moment you lie down, your body initiates the sleep sequence because that's what always happens in this location. Habit number 8, the magnesium wind down about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Take magnesium glycinate, typically 200 to 400 milligrams. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including those that regulate your nervous system and promote relaxation. Many people are mildly deficient, and supplementing improves sleep quality, particularly the ability to stay asleep through the night. Research shows magnesium helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the rest and digest state that's necessary for sleep. It also regulates melatonin and binds to GABA receptors, which promote calmness. People who supplement with magnesium report falling asleep faster and experiencing fewer nighttime awakenings. Check with a doctor about the right dose for you, but this simple supplement is a game changer for many people. Habit number 9, the breathing technique for sleep onset. Once you're in bed, use the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, breathe out through your mouth for 8 counts. Repeat this cycle 4 times. This breathing pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, lowers heart rate, and promotes the physiological state necessary for sleep. Dr. Andrew Weil, who popularized this technique, calls it a natural tranquilizer. It works by forcing a specific breathing pattern that's incompatible with the stress response. You literally cannot be in fight or flight mode while breathing this way. Many people report falling asleep before they finish the 4 cycles because the technique is so effective at inducing relaxation. Habit number 10, the morning routine that supports night sleep. What you do in the morning directly affects how you sleep that night. Get bright light exposure within 30 minutes of waking. This sets your circadian clock, which determines when you'll feel sleepy tonight. Exercise sometime during the day, preferably in the morning or afternoon, not within 3 hours of bed. Physical activity increases sleep pressure, making you sleepier at night. Avoid napping after 3 in the afternoon, as it reduces the sleep pressure you need for nighttime. Great sleep is a 24-hour process. Your daytime habits set up your nighttime sleep. When you optimize both, you create a positive cycle. Better sleep gives you more energy for morning light and exercise, which creates better sleep tonight, which gives you more energy tomorrow, and the cycle reinforces itself. Let me recap these 10 habits. First, consistent sleep schedule as your foundation. Second, progressive light dimming to allow melatonin rise. Third, temperature drop protocol with cool bedroom and hot bath. Fourth, screen curfew to eliminate blue light and stimulation. Fifth, cognitive download to quiet mental chatter. Sixth, caffeine cutoff to prevent sleep disruption. Seventh, bedroom sanctuary rule for strong sleep association. Eighth, magnesium supplement for nervous system support. Ninth, 4-7-8 breathing for sleep onset. 10th, morning routine that supports night sleep. Here's what your life looks like without these habits. You lie awake for an hour thinking and worrying. You check your phone. You toss and turn. You finally fall asleep, but wake multiple times. Your alarm goes off and you feel like you barely slept. You start the day exhausted. You drink caffeine all day just to function. You dread bedtime because you know it will be another struggle. You're caught in a cycle of poor sleep and low energy. Here's what your life looks like with these habits. You complete your evening routine and feel naturally drowsy. You lie down and fall asleep within 10 to 15 minutes. You sleep deeply through the night. You wake naturally before your alarm, feeling refreshed. You have energy all day. You're mentally sharp and emotionally stable. Sleep isn't a struggle. It's something your body does effortlessly because you've trained it properly. You've reclaimed one of life's most fundamental resources. Your challenge is this: pick 5 of these 10 habits. Commit to them every single night for 30 days straight. No exceptions. Track your sleep quality. Notice what changes. Drop a comment right now telling me which 5 habits you're committing to. I want to hear about your sleep transformation. If this video showed you why you've been struggling and how to fix it, hit that like button so more people can discover these habits. Subscribe, because every week I'm sharing strategies that can genuinely improve your health and life quality. You're not a bad sleeper. You've just been doing the wrong things. These 10 habits change that. Start tonight. Your best sleep is waiting.